Okay. Alright. Here we are again with Cupid. And we are now going to do that this. Here, oh. Hold on. No, don't move that. We're going for ending 3. Ending 3 of Cupid. Oh. Just gonna set it up. I'll be like hey Brian, what's up? Right now I'm just continuing a visual novel. I'm not sure if that's up your alley or not. But I'll be streaming Resident Evil 1 later today, alright? So if you want to stick around for this, please do so. I do this just to have fun with my voice. Alright, let's go. No, this way. Start. We're going for ending 3. And we can skip all this. Skip. He was abused. I fear for your safety. Alright. I suppose you can. But you must be wary of everyone in this church. Do you understand? So weak, my darling. Thank you so much, Brian. You give my heart so much pain. I'm sorry, Mother. I'll try my best to stay out of trouble. How am I going to mind you like this? You attract so much misfortune everywhere you go. My poor child. My stupid little girl. Always a blight, aren't you? Whatever will you do without me? I'm sorry, Mother. Thank you for always guiding me. It is all my fault. The girl sat in silence. Yeah, okay, let's go. Skip. Are you hungry, child? Right now I'm just speeding through this because we already did the ending 1 and ending 2. Ending 2, ending 4. This is ending 3. Are you hungry, child? Are you hungry, my dear? Skip. I do not care for him. I can't skip this one. I do not care for him. But I wish you would stop oogling some man like a common whore. I just want to see him, Mother. What for? What good does his presence do you? He makes me feel that there are still good people in the world, Mother. It is hard to say. It is hard to say, of course, dear. You do not know the real intentions people have. One can hope that real charity exists. Even good people always put their needs first. Even your precious Marquise. I skip this? Of course I do. Of course, your child, you are special. Right now I'm talking as the mother. The person saying all this right here is the mother. Haven't I raised you as such? I tried my best, my dearest. Yes, Mother, you keep me right. And this is her, well, my daughter, I guess. But it's so weird that she abuses him and loves her at the same time. Those kind of bad relationships. I love you. The girl stared at her shoes and looked around for a bit, hoping for just a glance before she left. Alright, just keep on going. Didn't I tell you people are cruel? Haven't I taught you this time and again? People are cruel. You see it firsthand. Hey there. A child's voice called out from behind her. I like this character right here. This one is really nice. There's a young girl. We see her grow up throughout this novel. And it's such sad what happens to her. And this is the other main character. Not that guy. And then we find out she died. It just happened so fast, you know. This is still chapter 1, I think. She led you astray. Catherine was a curse. She drove you to a love I warned you about. I knew she would just cause you pain. I am glad she is dead. Save me the trouble of delivering you from her clutches. She was poison. Glad she is gone. Your silence bothers me, child. She was important to me, Mother. I loved her. Mother only laughed as Rosa screamed out her pain. And she died. And then this guy right here is the cause of it. We don't find out later. Remember the fear in Catherine's eyes in our last days. You have seen it, haven't you? She was mostly hostile. Sometimes when her sanity returned, she was afraid. Afraid of this man. How well do you even know him, child? I've known him for as long as I knew Catherine, Mother. He's a close friend. I didn't ask how long you've known him, but how well. Beyond the masks that he displays in public view, do you even know his past? Do you even know any of his ambitions or secrets? He was always a private man, Mother. Yeah, this guy, he's like a player. He's always going for girls. And apparently he had a thing with Catherine. But what the game didn't tell you before was that in the beginning Catherine was like 10 years old. And later when she dies, she's about like 30 years old or something like that. Like such a huge time gap, and they didn't tell you anything about it. Retribution. Start with his guilt, child. And now she died, and we think right now it was because of him. Skip this. And we also find out Rosa is a witch. That's why she was spitting up needles. We must get to the bottom of this. You're quite alright, my darling. Now you've seen it too. There's a sinister force at work. And this is her when she's a teen. Like a few years... yeah, a few years older from when she was a child. Leave now while he is not looking, child. What are you doing just standing there? He's going to see you. Leave now while you still have the chance. You can skip this. Then her sister died, and we don't know how she died. We can console her. And now I have to save this. Save. And check. I'm always here, my love. Okay, this is us at her funeral. Which... I don't like the time skips in this game. It didn't explain like how going from one point to another point. I was always here, my love. Loss will always hurt. You love Mother the best, don't you? Alright. Leave it alone. I loathe that thing. I don't wish to accept any gift from that man. I wish he hadn't taken it. In any case, just leave it alone. Yes, Mother. Rosa slipped the necklace into her coat's pocket. The spell would start its effect in stages, gradually uncovering his true face. Fondness first, trust. Familiarity. Rosa sighed. Alright, now we can just skip this. Now this is her when she's like a freaking adult. Town of Light? Town of Light. Okay, I'll remember that game. I like playing these kinds of games, so I'll try to look that up later. Let me just make a note of it right now. Of Light. Are you worried about Captain now that he's here? That filthy man again. Sure, Captain will be pleased. Wherever will she think now that her lover is back? Yeah, now she's freaking an adult. This is the weird time skips I'm talking about. First we see her as a child, then as a teenager, now as an adult. It's obvious he's never going to look at you. You like being so miserable? It saddens me to see you like this. He has eyes only for Catherine. Must you always impose your presence like a little dog? And she kind of likes the other guy. or Gully, or Gulmil. But family is more important. I'm the only one who will care for you forever, darling. A mother's love will endure. This bond can never be broken by time or absence. Family lifts you up, saves. Of course you feel this way. See them often. When you lose touch, you're left with nothing but a collection of strangers. And believe me, my dear, they will leave. They always leave. You amuse them now, soon they will abandon you too. Rosa's tongue felt bitter in her mouth. Uh, yes, family was important. These familial bonds kept her from losing herself. It was her rock, foundation. Were those bonds the only constant value? These friends, these were people who accepted her. Shared laughter and tears, their own regrets and dreams. In her heart, she had found a home with them. More was needed. Skip. Oh, skip. See, there you go. There's Captain right there. And there's the guy that he loves her. She kind of loves him. And there's this, like, back and forth romance. But the thing that confused me, okay, now she's like an adult. And then things started getting heated here because they had a fight. She got drunk, and then she started to kiss her. And they both started to kiss each other. And she feels guilty because she still loves this guy right here. So she went back to him. How does she kiss a woman when she's in love with this guy? She feels guilty, comes to his arms. And then later, they have, the deed. But then you find out this guy right here is a monster who eats love. He eats people's love. That's why he was a player. He made the people played in love with him. And after he did that, he ate the love. Because he basically Cupid, Name of the game. She's probably repulsed by you. What do you expect? What you did to her, you little monster? Yeah, they're talking about her, how she kissed her. Of course she will avoid you like the plague. Just keep them. And see, afterwards, he got crazy. Because he ate her love, basically eating her soul. And she's, yeah. Now we found out why she died. It's because after the guy ate her love, she basically felt like a zombie. And she started like self-harming and falling into depression. You hate him, don't you? Look deep into your heart and you will find it, child. As there is deep love, there is burning hate. Hate so strong it compels to end a life. Yes, darling, let it burn in you. This is the fire that consumes the same way. Channel it. Use it. No, please. Rosa's head began to throb and a vile sickness spread through her stomach. He took everything away from you, darling. He took Catherine. He will not stop. He needs to be punished. With this final proclamation, Rosa was struck to the floor. The feeling of fainting was stronger than ever. Alone in the dark, she lay there, panting like a sick dog, waiting for what would come next. And see, now we're basically trying to get back at him. So we slipped him some drugs so he fall asleep. And now we're here inside his room. And I have to take the key first. Take the key and leave that dagger. I have a bad feeling about that weapon. Leave it be. Rosa agreed with Mother. The weapon was as sinister as it was beautiful. She didn't want to touch it. Rosa took the tiny key into her hand, feeling the cool metal against her palm. She pushed the drawer back. Umi shifted. That's the name of the guy. Rosa blew the candle out. She scuttled behind a small table. It barely hit her. Umi had changed position in his sleep. Now his face was in full view and facing her direction. Rosa's head banged at her chest. Heart banged. It was so loud she was concerned a room might echo sound and announce her intrusion. Rosa waited for a few minutes before moving. She decided to crouch down, holding the unlit candle close to her chest. Easy now. She shuffled away the bed in relief. The candle was dead, but her eyes were now well adjusted to the darkness. She could make out a desk in the furthest part of the room. He must do most of his writing there. There's a huge chance the journal was near. It wasn't very dignifying. Rosa decided to crawl towards it. Now that Gumi's face was in full view, a flutter of the eyelid was all it would take to catch her. It would be better to minimize her risks. She dropped to her knees and placed her palms on the floor. She drew her hand back. Was she imagining it? When her palms touched the floor, it felt warm, wet. Fingers were sucked into the floor as if she touched soft, pulpy flesh. The hallucination was so strong that her nose detected a spray of it on the air. Her stomach heaved. She rubbed her hand. There was no wetness or blood anywhere. The floor was solid. It must have been her imagination. Rosa touched the floor warily, panting it and pulling on the carpet fibers. Just a normal carpet. Rosa let out slow, small breaths. She started to move once more. She paddled her way to the desk. Every time her skin came into contact with the floor, bile rose up her throat. It took some effort to resist the urge to gag. Finally, the desk was directly in front of her. She looked back at the bed. From this angle, it was hard to tell if Gumi had moved. She hoped that the big desk also hid her in the shadows. Rosa rummaged. There was no trace of the book on the tabletop. She only found a pot of ink, loose sheets of paper, and a quill. That damn Dane had to be close. Opened the first shelf and found a stack of papers. Nothing. She shuffled through them, but the drawer didn't have the journal. Looked through the second drawer and the third. There's nothing of interest. Finally, she pulled on the last drawer. It was locked. Rosa sucked the air through her teeth. Of course it's locked. How could I have been so stupid? Rosa slumped in a depressed heap. Key. Rosa looked at the key in her hand. She slid it into the hole. Heard the lock click. A deep feeling of relief washed over her. The drawer slid open. Rosa looked inside. There it was. In her eyes, the green journal was a treasure. She lifted the book from its resting place. It was heavier than she expected. Rosa smiled. That's basically his diary. Oh, she had to leave. Now, Rosa shuffled her way out of the room. With every step, her legs seemed to stick uncomfortably to the floor. It slowed her movement. One more step. Her whole foot felt like sinking. She held onto a chair and staggered back. It was throbbing, musty and red, alive and wet skin. The air was filled with the unmistakable stench of fresh meat. Rosa ran to the door. She didn't care that the handle seemed to curl around her fingers. She pushed the door open, slipped into the corridor. Rosa fell to her knees while she heard the door close behind her. Almost felt like the door closed by itself. In her confusion, she couldn't be sure. Rosa's heart pounded heavily in her ribs. Just looking at the doorway of the room made her skin crawl. Rosa gathered her wits and stared at the journal in her hand. Okay, now that we got his journal, we're beginning to read it. And then we find out this guy is about 300 years old. He's very, very old. 19 December. Today I have learned the meaning of humility. It is the act of genuflecting. It is kneeling on the hard marble floor until your knees bleed. It is prostrating yourself upon the Lord, opening your mouth and accepting whatever is put in. Okay. He say it is called communion. In a sense, call it that. I have learned a new word I hate. At least he was behind me, so I didn't have to endure his stupid face during the whole ordeal. Last time I couldn't help but laugh at the faces he made, and I received the whipping afterwards. Glory hole. I know I'm not supposed to be writing this. God forgive me. I do not want to write it down. If I do, it will be the truth. Oh Lord, please forgive me. I didn't mean to do it. I just wanted to stop hurting. I'm hiding now. I slashed my face and cut my hair so they would not recognize me. Pain. Pain is good. A penance. Oh Lord, please. There is a God listening. Please strike me down. Now we just learn more about him. Thomas got me a job under the court of the royal Prince Albert. I tried to object, but he told me to do it. I admire him greatly. His mind is deep. his demeanor like that of a king. I'll help him in any way I can. Support him. I just wish he listened to me sometimes. I know what he's planning, but he doesn't like it when I talk back. His temper is the only thing that stresses me. But I can't imagine living with anybody else. I love him. Love is strong, like ale mixed with blood and bruises. Yeah, this guy had a bunch of lovers over his 300 years. Domestic abuse. Yeah, apparently that guy was abusing him. Skip. I am starving under the bridge tonight, at least until the immunity ends. They will never find her body. It's the best I can do. You should be thankful I didn't leave her to the dogs after what she had done to me. It was nothing to her, but a poor sap to be I was nothing to her, but a poor sap to be manipulated. And yet, that fire in her eyes burned ever so lovely. Such sentiment. I had been staying in the old March farm. They are good people. They invited me to eat with them, and it was in the warmth of their fire that I knew then that I must leave. I will only destroy their happiness. For the briefest of moments, I was able to experience what it's like to be of a family, not an outsider, but accepted. So he's just chronicling his days as a player and loving people and dying, well, killing them. I have invited the shy Lady Isabel to walk with me tonight. She seemed to wait on my touch, to wait on my touch, almost flinches when I come near her. It is funny because I know she secretly wants me to grab her neck, rip her clothes off, and take her on the table in front of everyone. Oh wow. Whatever will her husband say? Every time I look at her, I see her depraved cravings painted in her eyes. It makes me giggle. Out of the blue, she even wonders what it would be like if I use a cross in her ass. Maybe she'll find out. Yeah, all those years of killing people and people hurting you. Yeah, because since he's a monster, he has this unnatural ability to attract people. That's sad. I have invited the shot. Wait, yeah. I am fleeing the country to escape from jail. I guess some of my dirty books didn't sit well with the church and authorities. It gives me great pleasure to watch them fail and brandish me as a harlot, all the while wondering what my thighs taste like. Finally found out what they are. They are my playthings. I can poke them, do things to them. They will still love me. Be the most fiendish little devil, or a saint. I guess I should play around a bit with a new name. Danny, the same old song. I was careless before. I hit off more than I can chew. Perhaps I was too infatuated with the rump of reality, the trappings of power. I should remember that my primary goal is to survive. Oh really? Where is the fun in that? I can be daring sometimes. I just have to be smarter. I have the advantages of time on my hands. I have come to the understanding of my real purpose in life. That is to enjoy it. Otherwise, what else? I don't want to live anymore. I guess I have to read more. Those were all the entries she could read. She closed the book. Rosa's hands were shaking by then. A growing feeling of understanding came over her. His thoughts were too much like her own. Do it for the greater good. He should be stopped. It's the right thing to do. Now we're trying to pressure our girl Rosa to kill him. He must be stopped. If he will not stop, there will be more victims in the future. Grown in pride and greed. There's no telling what he will do in the future. He's nothing but a monster, a rabid dog that must be put down. But is it really the right thing? Yes. Maybe not. Maybe not. But must we risk it? He has become haughty and powerful. Sure enough, this power will drive him mad. Am I not like him, Mother? Yes, you are. Yes, you are, and it's part of my regret to have ever loved you. That's why I'm here. To keep you from becoming the monster he is. Yeah, we find out later. Well, now I think. Now that you know his true face, there's only one thing to do. Kill him. Rosa bit her lip until she could taste blood. Mother, please. Don't, don't make me kill anyone again. I'm scared. You've done it before. What's the matter? Haven't you done it before? That was an accident. No, it is necessary. Accident or not, your hands are already dirty. What's a little more blood to you? That's not true. Isn't right. I can't kill another person, Mother. Yes, you can. You must. Kill your goal. It is necessary to crush things along the way. Just remember that they don't matter. It is just you and I forever, darling. Trust no one. Love no one but me. The rest of the world can crumble to dust. I've thought about punishing him too, haven't you? Vince. My dear child, don't you see? This is the right thing to do. Is it? Yes, my darling. You've read his journal, have you not? He's tired. You're doing him a favor. It shouldn't be up to me to decide. It's not how he's supposed to. Believe in Mother, child. Mother knows what is best for you, my darling. Do you believe that? Yes, Mother. I have protected you and loved you all these years, haven't I? Yes, Mother. All my sacrifices were for you, you degenerate. Tears formed in Rosa's eye. She grabbed her head and scratched viciously. No, I don't understand anymore. I'm so confused. Please, Mother. Don't cry, honey. Shh, my darling. That was hard. But you love Mother, don't you? Yes. Keep Mother happy, darling? Yes. And do as I say, my child. Kill him. Rosa began to giggle. Tongue danced in her mouth. And now we convinced our girl Rosa to kill Gumil. And she brought out a gigantic carving knife she snuck out of the kitchen. It was almost as long as her forearm, and had been sharpened enough to tear meat from bone. She played with the shiny thing, whistling a lullaby. Sleep now, my precious Gilly. Dream of me. Dream and descend into the depths of your personal hell. Hope you like your gift. Rosa giggled, by prickling the tip of her tongue with a sharp knife. Let me deliver your torment. Taste of honey. Alright, now we get to kill Gumil. But during the course of that chapter, we find out that Gumi is kind of the father of Catherine, or father of Rosa. And she is kind of like him. They're both the same creature. No light, but rather darkness visible. And now here's the big battle between Rosa and Gumil. Well, it's not a big battle. Right now it's a dream with Gumil. He's dreaming about Catherine. Now he woke up. The old dagger glinted at him with malice. It reminded him of his anger, forged and sharpened over the years. His hatred was distilled in his blade. He gripped the dagger's hilt until red welts formed on his hands. He felt bound by purpose and range. He could hear her calling out to him. A whisper. Aunt, you mean play with me again? Please? You know where to find me. He shivered as his teeth grinded in his mouth. The dagger, biting his lip to keep himself awake. The domain of sleep was where he was most vulnerable. His attacker must have known this too. He regained some of his strength, but he was still weakened considerably. Rosa. So she was a witch. Come, he had never noticed before. Right, yeah, right now we're trying to lure this. Rosa's using her witch powers to lure him over there, where she is. The years had made him soft. Gumid clutched his jaw. His hand tightened on the dagger. Right now Rosa's around here somewhere. Somebody was shifting on the bed. The room was too dark to see who it was. Gumid stepped closer. You can hear low, rousing moans from the bed. Yeah, it's not important, but Rosa's in the bed doing something. Now she came out of the bed. Retribution. Not before I get to play around. Mother allowed me just this once. A reward for being a good girl. Yumi's vision spun. The sweat poured off his whole body. His breathing was bated and hot. He clutched his dagger and brandished it. Release me from this spell now. Warning you. That is adorable. She stepped towards him. Me saw a glint of something sharp in one of her hands. His head, pushed like a splinter, was stuck in his brain. Pulse. Okay. Gumi felt like a child now. He suddenly realized how puny his demand sounded. Yet right now he's in the clutches of her witch powers, and she can't really move that much. His dagger clattered to the floor as she stepped nearer. Her power was double his own. The spell seemed to magnify it with her proximity. She ran her hands over her chest, pacing a finger down his shirt. Getting torn down the middle must be excruciating. I know how your victims feel, you dirty monster. Oh, who are you? I am your judge, Gumi. I am your Scrooge, your truth. I am like you, a creature that emanates and feeds on desire. Yet, they're both the same creature. But unlike you, I am clean, I am pure. What? Does love. That's how she survived. She didn't eat people, but she ate the memories of her mother. The love. She keeps me clean. I am attached to her teeth and sucking at her love way after she died. Isn't it wonderful? You, on the other hand, you are vile, repugnant, filthy. Rosa licked the sweat off Gumi's neck. Her tongue slid on her skin, and so enticingly, the hair on Gumi's arm stood up. She was so near now. Her skin glistened with sweat. Her lips were wet and plump like apples. Gumi shut his eyes. He wanted to push her away, despite his petrified body. But his mind was torn. A part of him frolicked upon the thought of pulling her corset free, sucking on her breast, pulling her hair, running his lips on her shoulders, pushing her wrist down onto the floor, inhaling her scent and letting his tongue savor the wetness under her shirt. Bit his lips, and his teeth broke through skin. The pain gave him momentary control over his drugged mind. If he didn't find a way to stop the spell soon, it would be his downfall. I will just skip this. See, they're both trying to outsmart each other, basically, because he's the veteran in this game of love. I am avenging her. Really? Me choked. Go on then. Why don't you ask your mother? Why are you here? Why are you really here? Maybe she's just enjoying the show. That's not true. Mother loves me. Rosa's eyes lost focus. She struggled to listen to Mother's voice. Mother? Should I really be doing this? Mother, please answer me. Tell me why I'm here. Why'd you leave me here? Am I really doing the right thing? Is he right? Do you not love me? You are forcing me to become a murderer. Do you even love me, Mother? Mother, don't you love me anymore? I followed all your commands all this time. I have obeyed you. I did everything for you. Do you even care for me? Tell me why, Mother. Answer me. I want you to talk to me. I knew it from the start. You're just a bitter, scornful woman, full of spite. I hate you. You've abandoned me. What? Are you not going to speak again? Are you running out of your gall? Say something, you beep. Rosa screamed with tears in her eyes. All this time that I spent with you, I have always obeyed you. I loved you, Mother. You were always so cruel to me. So many times you called me a monster, blamed me, and hurt me. Despite the hurt, I never wanted to get rid of you. I thought, to endure the pain, isn't that real love? To continue hurting and sacrificing proves how true my love is. All my tears should mean something. Nobody told me that was a lie. She continued sobbing, crumpled by the wall, and pulling desperately on her hair. She would shout her anger sometimes, would whisper sometimes. Then her head snapped back in alert. She cupped her hands on her ears, her face contorted into worry. Mother? Did you say something? I didn't hear you. Please, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to say those things. I was just... Please don't be angry. I love you, Mother. Please come back. I'm nothing without you. I don't want to be alone. Rosa sobbed with grief. Just come back to me, Mother. I'll never question you again. Gumi felt his full consciousness return to him. The sickly, nauseating atmosphere in the room started to dissipate. The spell was losing effect, but his body still refused to follow his orders. He crawled to where she had dropped the large knife. He stretched out his fingers to reach the weapon. Mother? Mother, please talk to me. Please, I want to hear your voice. No, please, please, talk to me. Don't leave me, Mother. Please. No. Rosa whimpered in a corner, searching for Mother's voice. She kept calling for Mother to talk to her, but she didn't seem to be answering. He would laugh for a bit, and then stare blankly at the ceiling. The candle died out. The spell was lifted from the room as the last glimmer of his light faded. Without Mother, without magic, Rosa cried, grasping at the tiny shards of her sanity. Gumi's limbs felt free. He stood up from the floor, watching the broken girl press herself into a corner. His lips stretched into a smile, an idea forming in his head. Well, I did offer to take care of you, didn't I, Rosa? He approached the girl gingerly. She scuttled away from his touch, but he cooed and coaxed until she let him touch her. He stroked her head gently, smoothing her messy hair. Rosa clung to his hand, kissing and nibbling at his fingers fondly. Gilly. Ah, you poor thing. Sorry, Gilly. Mother is not talking to me anymore. But I hate her anyways. She's always been mean to me. She's always so cruel. I see. But you're always kind and sweet. You always were. Will you stay with me? Please tell me you'll stay with me. Gumi tapped his finger on his chin, seemingly mulling it over. Why not? Rosa clapped with glee and hugged Gumi's neck. Love you, Gumi. I always have. Really? Do you really love me, Rosa? Yes, I do. I really do. I'm sorry. Please don't leave me. I don't want to be alone. Gumi smiled. He scooped the broken girl off the floor, his arms still draped around his neck. She giggled to herself, still talking to the non-existent voice in her head, waiting for an answer. You want to come with me, Rosa? Going on a trip. Trip? Far, far away. You'll take me with you? You aren't angry at me anymore? You forgive me. Gumi bit Rosa's earlobe fondly. He dug his tongue inside her ear. Rosa moaned. Never. But I'll take you with me if you want. You like that? I would. In return, you'll feed me, won't you, Rosa? Yes. Anything for you. Such a sweet girl you are. Don't worry. I won't ever I won't ever leave you. You're going to be a good girl. Rosa whimpered. The two figures disappeared into the shadows. And now Rosa became Gumi's slave, basically. Sad, but it's what happens. Ending 3, Surrogate. This is the people who wrote the book, wrote the original novel. Your main purpose is revenge. You called Rosa a monster. You left Gumi's locket closed. You told Rosa that family is the most important thing. You wanted to read more of Gumi's journal. You took Gumi's key. You admitted that killing Gumi might not be the only answer. 73% complete. Yes, save. I'll do that right here. Yes. Alright. That is ending 3 of Cupid, a visual novel. Thank you for joining me. I'll be doing ending 4 probably tomorrow or the day after that. And after we're done with that, a new game, which I forgot the name of right now. Thank you for joining me for this. Okay. Oh, yeah. Thank you, Brian. You especially. I'll be back later today for Resident Evil Remastered. Stick around for that. I'll see you guys later. Dun, 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 dun.